Progress is not linear, meaning it's not one step after another equals the sum game. Yet we are so trained to expect that if we do one thing to a certain amount, we will create a certain income. X number of hours equals X number of pay. No. Although this is how our modern education system continues to train us. If we pass a certain number of grades to a certain number of standards, then we can progress one grade after another. Then there's the standard job that treats us the same way. Dedicate a number of hours, do a certain number of tasks, and you receive a certain agreed upon wage. We start to think that this is how everything works, except it's not. Quantum physics is proving this for us that success is not linear. Instead of thinking that we just need to work harder, put in a number of hours to achieve a certain result, we should begin to shift our thinking to value output. What value are we creating to receive the outcome we want to have? So, are you doing the right things and are you believing the right thoughts in order to take yourself to the level of success that you want? And if so, you might go from working on something month after month, barely making progress, to seemingly overnight feeling propelled to this new level of success, this new level of achievement. It can seem like an overnight success, but you know it's not because you have been doing the work, you have been putting in the effort. So instead of incrementally climbing the success ladder one rung at a time, like we think it's going to be, we are going to be able to achieve progress in which we will actually skip over entire rungs altogether. We might just go all the way to the top of the ladder and we can leapfrog, so to speak, in success. So I share all this to make the connection to how your body has progress. Because when you experience the work that you're doing on the rebounder and the work that you're doing as far as what you are eating well, and you're doing all of that on a consistent basis, there are times you might feel like nothing is changing. And then there might be times when, whoa, look at what I just achieved. And that success can just happen so fast. You can have that leapfrog experience. So here I am, and I'm getting close. I'm so close. Next week is my 90-day mark as far as rebounding. So 3 full months of bouncing on the rebounder. I'm so excited. And my actions have been pretty consistent. Although, how long I have been able to bounce and what moves I am able to do, now that has changed as my body has continued to get stronger and my stamina has continued to improve. But here's the thing, my stamina and my strength, it didn't progressively get better day by day. In fact, I remember the day I first did a 20 minutes of bouncing in one day. And I shocked myself because it wasn't something I had planned. It's just something that haphazardly happened. And I was like, what did I just do? Because I wasn't expecting it and I wasn't realizing that I could leapfrog that quickly in my ability from the times that I had been working towards 10 minutes to all of a sudden be able to do 2 10-minute routines for a total of 20 minutes in one day. Or you could relate this leapfrog experience, jumping in the level of success, to the weight loss goal that I'm striving towards. I started this journey to release weight, and instead, if you saw any of my earlier videos, I ended up gaining 10 pounds in 1 month. Between week 2 and week 6, I went up 10 pounds. 10 pounds that I surely did feel. Like I felt it when I was walking, I felt it when I was moving, and it came on so fast that I felt so bloated and so tired. But at the same time, I did stay consistent with my workouts and I kept persisting and I was able to hold my own even though that weight was burdening me. And I won't say that I progressed in strength that month, although I did manage to stay like in movement and stay in progress and keep up with the weight gain. So I guess that is strength, and which I am certain I would have otherwise probably like been collapsing, like not physically like collapsing, but just like under the burden of that added weight coming on so fast. Can you imagine how that would have felt had I not been working out? I don't even want to imagine. So I did have the benefits even despite the weight gain. But now, as another month comes to a close, I have the delight in sharing that I have released all 10 of those unwanted extra pounds. So I went up 10 pounds. Now I've come back down those 10 pounds. So I'm essentially back to where I started. However, am I really back to where I started? No, because the leaps and bounds of success knows no limit. There's unlimited possibility when you are willing to accept that success can happen however it wants to happen in any amount that it wants to happen. And it doesn't have to be incremental or linear. And that's a big part of being able to experience success. You have to be ready to welcome it into your life. It's like wanting a new wardrobe, but refusing to clean out your closet and get rid of all the things that are taking up all the space that you don't even wear anymore or that don't fit. Clinging to old items out of fear that you might one day be able to wear it doesn't make space for what you could do now. Because today is the only day that matters. It's the only time that is actually real. And instead of thinking it's going to happen 1 hour at a time or one step at a time or whatever, metric you're counting it by, release that limited way of thinking. Don't hold on to a time expectation. Don't hold on to an amount expectation towards your goal. Just visualize the goal happening, cling to that, like claim it, own it, and adopt your mindset that it will happen. You just don't know when, and just keep moving towards it. For example, when I went to do my biweekly body scan this week, I went in expecting to have positive results, that I would continue to support my progress, but I did not allow myself to attach a certain amount and think that it had to hit a certain number. Because I know that my weight loss results are not directly tied to the actions that I've taken over this period of time. So here I am. I've been working out. I've been eating well over the last 2 weeks. But that doesn't mean that just because I did that these last 2 weeks, which during that time frame also included my period, it did not mean that I was going to have the same results that maybe I've had in a previous 2 weeks or that I had to hit a certain number. I just don't set that expectation. So just because I did bounce every day, I may not lose the same amount. And so holding to that way of thinking has disappointed me in the past. It's left me unable to celebrate myself for being consistent in my behavior if I was too focused on what outcome I had to get. If I didn't hit that particular outcome, I would get frustrated. I might fall into negative thinking instead of staying positive and staying the course and continuing to believe in the big picture. But now I am holding to the outcome, no matter what the scan says on an individual reading. I am looking at the bigger picture. I'm taking it one scan as a point of data and taking that one scan into the bigger picture of all the scans put together so that I can better understand what is working and happening in my body and what I can need to continue to do to make it have progress. And no matter what the scan reveals, I do know that I want to continue to feel good, focused, and strong, and ready to persevere to keep going until I achieve my goal. And friends, that is just what I achieved. I took the scan from a very neutral emotional state. I wasn't overly excited. I wasn't anticipating a certain expectation. I was just chill about it. I wasn't even rattled in doing it or taking and reading the results. In fact, I didn't even go over the results of the scan until the next day when I finally input them into my computer for analysis. I was interested to be the body scientist that I've talked about on this channel in multiple videos, being the scientist about my own body so that I can take all the data and I can learn how to keep moving in the right direction. Now, side note, did you know that scientists conduct their studies with a double blind test? It's basically the same principle that I'm applying here to my body scans. I'm removing the emotional attachment and any expectation bias from the data collection process. And here's how it works. In a double blind study, neither the participants nor the researchers running the experiment know who is getting what treatment versus who is being placed on the placebo. Both groups get identical looking pills or treatments, whatever, it's coded with the same numbers so that the participants can't psych themselves up and thinking they're going to be feeling better because they got the good stuff, or they're going to feel worse because they're on the placebo. And researchers can't unconsciously influence the results by treating people different or assuming, making that expectation of different people based on what they're taking. Scientists do this double blind approach because they've learned that our expectations are incredibly powerful. That's why we're talking about it now. Your expectations can actually change your outcomes. Just like how I used to get disappointed if my scan results didn't match my expectations from 2 weeks of consistent bouncing, Participants in the studies can experience real physical changes just from believing they're either getting an effective treatment or an ineffective treatment. So, by keeping everyone neutral and blind to which group until the very end, when they would do the big reveal, researchers ensure that measuring the actual effect of their treatment, not just the effect of their hope, their expectation, or even their unconscious bias, is removed. And it's the same. It creates detached, curious mindset that's open to revelation. And if that's what I'm encouraging you to do. So I'm approaching my body scans as a scientist rather than someone whose sole worth and efforts depend on hitting certain numbers. So here's what you can reflect on. Think about an area in your own life where you might be too emotionally attached to short term results. Maybe it's in your fitness journey here in the Rebounder. Maybe it's a creative project you're doing, something in your career. Whatever it is, are you letting your expectations cloud your ability to see the bigger picture and to celebrate your consistency in how you're staying committed and showing up? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is one area where you're struggling to be open minded, to be clear of emotional connection, to stay objective about your progress? Are you getting rattled by the individual results, or are you able to stay focused on the big picture and your long term success? It's so important, friend, that we become the scientists and we become better scientists as we research and explore our own lives. Remember, your journey, whether it's fitness, career, relationships, or any kind of personal growth, isn't meant to follow a predictable timeline. Just like quantum physics shows us that energy can leap from one level to another without traveling through space in between, your progress will surprise you when you can make sudden breakthroughs, especially when you least expect them. The key is staying consistent with your actions while releasing your grip on how and when the results show up. Trust the process, celebrate your commitment to showing up every day, stay curious about what the data is telling you, and when you approach your goals with the same neutrality and patience as a scientist conducting research, you're going to create space for those quantum leaps to happen naturally. Keep going, keep believing, keep collecting your points of data, and your breakthrough might just be around the corner. Happy bouncing, friend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.